Hi everybody, welcome very much to the channel. It's a Cloud Surfer here. Today let's talk about how you or we are astrology. Thank you for watching. Leave a like and subscribe. Use the links on below and get contact and get readings with me using the links on below as well. So we are astrology, but wait, because we are not the thing, the science, the discussion, the science. No, we are our spirits, right? And then we create these things. We are no thing creating everything together. Teamwork makes a dream work. But we as spirits, all together, we move and change. We go through different phases, highs and lows, stagnation, uphill battles, downhill, faster times, you know what I'm saying? Relationships, connections, creativity blocks, anger, frustration, sadness, cheerfulness. We go through a lot of circumstances and events in our experiences, right? And we have main traits that we, even as a more logical and scientific society, have identified as a human experience. And those things change all the time within different periods of time. And that's when I say we are astrology, you are astrology. Because when we talk about Mars this, Mars that, Venus this, Venus that, it's not literally the planets, right? It's we using things that we associate with these planets. But there is a reason why for thousands of years now we have associated characteristics with planets, right? But that's for another video. But basically just means that they are a bigger representation of the things that we do here, right? It's not like they are giving us that, but they are also a part of that. But they're not the source. We are the source, and we are using those examples as examples, right? To see the bigger picture of a specific attribute that we have as spirits in human minds and bodies, right? So for an example, we have creativity, passion, and frustration, and we call it Mars, right? Or we associate it with the transit of the Mars planet, star, whatever. And what is important here to know is for you to be aware of your own creative impulses, your ability or lack of ability to be creative, for an example, right? And understand that those things changes, right? And it's not because Mars is on a good or bad sign that you'll have more or less creativity. It's about how you react to that transit, right? So what happens is that the whole world is under that transit. So in general, you can expect good things if Mars is in a good sign, and generally you can expect bad things if Mars is on a bad sign. But personally, it could be very different, right? So astrology helps us understand and know how the world is changing in general and how you personally are connecting and reacting to those changes, right? So we, right, as in this experience with defined attributes, aka individuality, sun, emotions, moon, relatability, Venus, passion and aggressiveness, Mars, logicality and more realistic thoughts, Mercury, spirituality, broader wisdom and knowledge, Jupiter, broader reality, structure and connection, Saturn, right? Those main ones. We are all using them all the time, personally more or less, but these things change, right? And when those things change, you might get caught off guard, or you might be in a very happy place right now on a high horse and you don't know why, and then you just sometimes don't know how to use it in the best way because you were not even aware that you have it, right? So for an example, when you are going through a good moment, right? And if you knew astrology or you had an astrologer or something, you know now it's time to capitalize on it. on your uniqueness or individuality, you feeling confident, you feeling the ability to express your visions and your imaginations in a consistent way. Capitalize on it. Don't just sit back, right? Or on the other way around, if you're feeling more insecure, more introverted, more private about your uniqueness, individuality expressions, and if you were into astrology or you had an astrologer, you wouldn't be so stressed about it. You'd be like, okay, it's time to pay more attention internally. It's time to create new things to express. It's time to accumulate the experience. It's time to be more serious. It's time to be hard. And in order for me to become hard, I need to be a bit on hermit mode to then go all in expressing these things. You know what I'm saying? So we are astrology. You are astrology. Because the things that we track, we are all doing them right now. So if you know when, how they are changing, you just can know, feel better, and do better, right? And just to conclude the video real quickly, it's also about how your own abilities, your own perspectives, your own tools combine with each other, right? So for an example, the sun might be in a good place in general, right? And it's hitting your sun, it's angling your sun in a good way too. But then your moon might be opposing your sun or squaring your sun or whatever, so it gives them not a negative perspective, but it might not be as positive and go happy, go lucky, or as negative as certain descriptions or certain horoscopes or whatever information you might get your hands into, right? So all those things changing all the time, right? And it's important to be aware of them, right? And also, just real quick, like, you don't need to know astrology to predict the future. You need, quote unquote, you don't need anything, but if you go into astrology, is to understand mostly what you went through, right? Because when you are doing something, or when you go into the future, there is not many conclusions that you can elaborate. You have to go through it, and then you can elaborate, right? Then you can see more sides of the things. Then you have more knowledge and more things to analyze, more data to work with, basically, right? But also, if we are astrology, and astrology is always changing, we are always changing too. The only thing constant in the universe is change. You know what I'm saying? But the point of this video, or the main point, is that we have within us, and we use the things that we attribute to the planets, right? And they change. And the thing is also very, very important is the frequency that they change, the period of time. Venus takes 1 month perhaps to move signs. Saturn takes more than 2 years perhaps, right? So it's also a representation of how those things change within you and around you, right? So you can expect more stability from a Saturn transit than from a moon transit that changes every 2.5 days, or the sun that takes 1 month to move from one side to the other. So if you know what the sun represents as in a characteristic of you, now you know how to what you can count on or not in the area that is aligned with that planet. For example, real quick, the sun, individuality, uniqueness, and ability to express yourself. It takes 1 month to change. So you have 1 month where you can work on specific parts and details of your expression, uniqueness, and individuality before it goes to another sign, before it goes to another expression and modality, before you start to create different visions and you have different perspectives internally and externally about yourself and how to express to the world. So now you know that imagine the sun just entered a new season, right? Imagine now you have 30 days to work your expressions in that specific element and modality. You don't need to do it, but you will already be either thinking, reacting, or doing in that modality, or somebody in your personal life will force you to see or shine in a different way, because we are astrology, because we have those characteristics within us, and they're always changing in different periods, in different frequencies. Thank you for watching. Your support is greatly appreciated. I wish you the best thoughts, ideas, feelings, and emotions. A whole bunch of individuality, creativity, and responsibility as well. Leave a like and subscribe. Book readings with me, and I see you next time.